Okay, now. Why did my camera just go off? Hi folks, I'm just about to service the Goddard SP25 from the GOODSELL school record player. I've just removed the turntable and I've removed the centre spindle, and I've also removed the circlip from the top of the cycle gear. What I'm going to do now, this is all seized up solid. The motor isn't, but all this lot here is all seized up solid. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply some heat, and I'm going to just concentrate the heat down here, and there we are, we're turning. Basically get enough heat on there, and yeah, we're getting there, and this is all seized as well. Let's get a bit on there. I'll tell you what, there we go, that's moving again. We'll get that out of there in a minute. I just want a bit more. There we go. That should do. I don't want to give it too much, obviously, because I don't want to melt the ring, the gear. It's a bit hot. There we go. Ouch! Oh, you don't mind me going out and shaking my hand. It's hot, folks. There we go. Ooh. And there we go. You see, there's all the crap that's on there, and that there's froze up as well. So a lot of people, when they do these, they don't do that little bearing, that little roller there where I'm pointing, and yeah, you have to do that. Get a bit of, there we go, a bit of heat on it. There we go. Bit more. There we are. Make sure that turns. Just very lightly. Drop a little bit of oil down there while it's hot, and what it will do, there we go, the oil will find its way in. There you go, just leave that there. That oil will find its way into there now, like that. Look at that. That'll find its way in, and there you go. That's found its way in, and that's free now. And this deck doesn't have to be washed. I'm not going to the trouble of actually washing this and doing a lot with it, because it doesn't need a lot. I mean, this is actually, I can't believe, let's see if the speed switch works. No. I can't believe that does. I can't believe how clean and tidy the actual deck is. I mean, I expected it to be perfectly honest, folks, I expected it to be a lot worse than what it is. That rubber, that's not needed. I mean, I'm not really sure why they put the rubber on, but There's another O-ring down there, and I don't know whether that's in any. I don't know whether that's gonna fall apart when I pull it out. But pull it out I shall, and it has. It's gone rock hard. That won't be going in. Back in. None of my garages have got it in, and they all work fine. So, right, let's just check the movement of the tone arm. About this little bit here. Yeah. Let's check the. I always like to check. Right, so bring that down and then back and then off. So that should be there, and then so obviously it's not. That's coming back too soon. So that should be there, then there, hang on, yeah, there we go. So the arm doesn't swing over. No. Right, so we know where we're up to with that. So we'll take the idler off, just in case I start spraying things and we start getting things everywhere. I'll take the idler off. It doesn't really need to come off, but I'll take it off just in case. And this idler's nice and it's still perfectly rubbery. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So I'll put that there. Get this little fibre washer, because these garages, they have a fibre washer on the bottom and they have a plasticky washer, nylon washer on the top. And making sure my breathing camera ain't gone off. I lose half my frigging footage, I don't know what it's playing at. Right. So what we'll do, oh, it's a bit gungy under here. So what we'll do, we'll start. Oh, the speed selector is working. It must have just been because I had it on the bench. Yeah, the speed selector is working. So what we'll do now, we'll in fact, what I'll do, folks, yeah, SP25 didn't come with a Mark III, didn't come with a cartridge. It says on it there, less cart. In other words, less cartridge. Didn't get a cartridge with it. When you bought it just as this, you didn't get a cartridge with it. You got a cartridge if you bought the old record player. So what we'll do now, you specify the cartridge. That was how it was done. Anyway. Oops, I'm not knocking you over. Wait, taking for a little ride there, folks. What I'm going to do now this gear's cooled down, I'll say that, I'm going to have to heat it up again because the grease has gone hard now. It's cooled down, it's gone hard again. Take this off. Take this. Nickel plate off the top of there. Take the circlip off. I know in America they call them E-clips. Right, so heat this up again to get the clip off. Get the actual little clutch mechanism out. Shouldn't take much. And then we can take the motor out and stuff. There we go. We can take the motor and stuff out and get the deck washed. There we go. Leave that there for a minute because it's hot. I don't want it melting my dish. In fact, what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to heat it up without see, and I already know where we're sticking on here. There, because that's supposed to go there, you see. So I don't actually have to wash it, because to be honest I didn't really want to get it wet, not that wet anyway, because all this will clean off. So all I've got to do clean all that there and just oil it really. I mean, if I turn this back over here, oh shit, pardon me, but that was a bit of a nasty knock for you, wasn't it, folks? The whole camera went flying. And we're out of focus. I hope I'm not busting my camera. Come on, focus. I'll come back in a minute, folks. There we go, folks, we're back on again apparently. I knocked the camera over. I knocked the camera over. It's just I knocked the camera over, folks. I knocked the camera over, it went hit the floor. Well, not the floor, it hit the bench. And I had to reset it because it knocked you out of focus. I'll put that in there now, and I can put that in there. Right, so that's all that done. Right, what I was going to say was this should now move over there, and if we go to 30, if we go to 33, off, cycle it again, well it didn't, but it did go over a minute ago, so we know that we need to mess about and we need to lubricate. So if I can do it without pulling the camera back over again, would help if I move the camera lead. Fancy pulling the camera over, I don't believe I did that. Hey folks, yeah, because that's what they're calling it. That's needs lubricating. There we go. Oops. I mean, most people hose them down with WD-40. And then wires are supposed to be under that tape, which that tape always comes off. So I'll have to find some new tape to put on there, if I can. There we go. Now what I'll do now, I will pull the clip off. I'll pull the clip off. If I can get the goddamn clip off. Oops, there we go, got it. Now What I need to do next is that little spring connects to that. Put that in the middle so we're out the so we're out the way, and just lift this off, if it will. There we go. See, generally, there we go, look at that. Right, all I need to do now is get a cloth. And would you believe it, just when I need one, there happens to be a cloth. You'll do. Because all I need to do really is just shake all the crap off this. Make sure the cloth is reasonably okay. Right, so let's see if we can get this. There we go. Got that all the way off there now. And look at all that gunge under there. There's some switch cleaner. It's all I've got, so it's what I'll have to use. It's all I've got, so there we go. Can only use what I've got. I haven't got any alcohol. Only wish I had. Just make sure that's not crap that's on there. No, that's where the clip goes. Well, no, we're okay, it's not crap off. Just make sure and get my fingers in. There we go. And that can be wiped when I put this back on, because this can go back on now, and just dribble a bit of oil down it. There we go. Turn that to the on position. There we go. Look at that now, folks. That's what you need. And just dribble a bit of oil. There we go. There we go. I have got a little small tub somewhere that dispenses a little bit of oil at a time, but unfortunately I can't find it. Right, put the clip back on. We want the clip on, and I normally do that. Like that, with a pair of pliers. And make sure that we're on, we don't want it falling off. There we go. See, that's right now. See? That's correct, that's how it should be. And now all I'll do is I clean all the grease and all the muck. Oops, oh that's better. And everything else. And all I'll do, where there's grease marks is where the grease is supposed to go. All I'll do, I'll just apply new grease. And give this all a good wipe under here. Looks like brick dust. Anyway, like I say, I was really, surprised and grateful that the gentleman I purchased, and I do say gentleman, because he really was, he was a nice guy. The guy who delivered this, the guy who sold me this actually delivered it. He didn't just chuck it in a box with no packaging and prayed it got here. He made sure it got here, he delivered it personally, and I like to see that now and again. I like to see, and he offered me my postage, some of my postage back, and I said, no mate, don't do that. I said, because you've driven here with it, I ain't mithered. I like to see that. I like to see the personal touch. It's a nice feeling. I just need a little small paintbrush now, and I normally do have one. A little small paintbrush I use for painting the grease on. I do have one, but there's one. It's not the one, but it'll do. And I paint the grease on back where it has to go. And there we go. You only need a little bit. Just put it back where put the grease back on where you took it off, and so you can see where you took it off. It's marked. Just put a little dollop here and there, because all these surfaces have to move, and some don't even have grease on them, and people put grease in places where grease doesn't even go. I've seen it a lot, and they put grease, and then they put it where it should. They put it where it shouldn't go, but don't put it where it should. And look at that there. There's like a big metal thing. Oh. It's like a big metal weight there. Like a metal weight on this side here. I don't know what that's into. I don't know what that's in aid of. There's only one. I ain't got a clue what that's in aid of. It's the first time I've ever seen it. I'll show you. Yeah, folks. I'll just turn it upside down, let you have a look. There, see that weight there? There's a weight glued in there. And that was put there by Garrard. I don't know why. I haven't got a clue why. The only people who know why is Garrard. And still, never mind, there'll be a reason for it. There's a big long hair there as well. Yeah. And that really is only for cleaning. This is not lubrication. This stuff I'm putting in a switch cleaner, and I'm using it because I've got no alcohol. Well, I have, but you can't use it on this, and even if I could, I wouldn't. Not wasting my gin. And there's something on the top of that there, which I hope will polish off, because one thing I can't stand and it has polished off, probably glue. Given this came out of a school, probably some idiot of a teacher glued a 2p to it at one point. I'm going to leave these stickers on, and I'll tell you why, because they're part of the machine's history. That's how it would have been supplied. I'm not happy with that MEC ground into it though, but makes me want to change the deck, but I'm not going to. Right now I'll put the clutch, now time to put the cycle gear and the little clutch mechanism back together. So we want these parts here. Make sure that that's yeah. Right, get a bit of a cleaner in there. And what I'll do, I'll run this through and it'll push it all out. Should push all the crap out. I've got no cotton buds, or as the Americans call them, Q-tips. Yeah, see what I mean? Look, it's bringing it all out just by pushing that through. There. See what I mean? Just by pushing that through, bringing all the crap out. That's sticking now because it's metal on metal. There we go, look at that. Yeah. Right, so what I'm going to do now, this does have a little bit of grease on. A lot of people oil this, but no, it has a little bit of grease. Because that's what was stuck in there, was grease. Give it a wriggle. Down. There we go. That's the grease worn in. There we go, look. See, that practically falls out now, that. And there you go. Now I'll put the top plate back on, which hooks under there. Then, and you don't put any grease on this here, you don't need to. No oil or anything on the front. It simply isn't needed. You only put take that back off again because I've made an error. Yes, I even make mistakes, forgot to put a circlip on. And there we go. And I'll put that on. Now I'll put the top circlip on, which is there, and get my pliers and snap it into place. There we go. Sorted. Now that's all been cleaned. Let's give the bearing ball race a clean. That's done. The top washer that the turntable rides on, give that a clean. Get all the gunge off, because let's get a bit of sandpaper. I'll tell you, well, sanding sponge. I'll tell you why. Because we don't want any rumble if we can help it. So give that a bit of a rub to just clean off any excess residue of rubber, so that we don't get any rumble from the turntable. And you put these bearings back in, you put these ball races in the way they came out, which that's the bottom one. And give it a little bit of grease. Only a little bit, it'll spread around as it goes. There we go. Little bit on the ball race. Little bit under there as well. Yes. Because we'll be okay, we're safe, it won't come up for another 40 years. And just to be secure. Little bit on there. There we go. Now let's move the thing. Now we can put the cycle. Little bit of grease on the cycle gear post. There we go. And yeah, that needs a drop of oil in it. So, there we go. Little drop or two of oil. Now, just here's the ginger hair. I almost forgot to put a layer of grease on the inside. Because it did have a layer of grease when it was new. Yeah, you can put another hair in there. Where's all these freaking hairs coming from? And they're not. I know I'm using a brush, and some of you are probably thinking, "Yeah, it's bristles." It's not, because they're thinner. Look at that. Look at that there, big load of hair. Ew, let's come out the middle of that. Ew, a big load of hair. Anyway, there's none in there now. Right, just test this. That's 10-inch. Now, off. Then I know I've got to do the 40. I've got to do the speed. 7. It went over. 33. Should be 12. Yep. And that should be 7 again. And off. Right, so we know that the cycle gear works and it cycles. So I'm absolutely over the moon with that. Next one is to lubricate and clean the speed change. Let's get me, let's put the speed on. Speed selector right at the bottom and paste on. Just give it a little bit of grease on both sides. Now work that in. bit of grease on that bar there, because that has to have something to slide up and down on. That's all spot on. Yeah. Yeah, that's all okay. There we go. Now get a bit of oil. There we go. Drop it down onto the idler post. Fit the idler. Replace the circlip. This will all need a good clean now, this idler. So what I'll do, I will get, as I've got no alcohol, I'm not using switch cleaner on it, I will use just aftershave. Just aftershave will do the job for now. Once I get some mains into it, I'll do a proper job. But that's just for now. And that's all that crap cleaned off that. Now, clean the inner. It's going to smell like a, this is going to smell like a woolly woofter. Smell like a pufter, this thing. There we go. It smells like it's going for a night out. Alright, and that's an SP24, SP25 Mark IV turntable now. They must have changed the... Now let's get some... Let's run some oil down the centre spigot. Ooh. What's that catching on? What was that catching on? Ah. Oh, I don't know what that's catching on. Unless it has to have that little rubber, which is worn, which is no good. But what I'll have to do there then, because that rubber's no good and I'm not putting it back in, yeah, look at that. That's catching, something catching, weren't it? know why. Just pull these balls out a minute, ball bearings, put them on there a minute. Right, so it should have a rubber under there, but it's no good. So I'm actually wondering, let's see what I've got in my drawers. Because I could put a couple of washers under there. Give me a minute, folks, I'll just go and find some. Right, what I've done, I've actually put another one of these. I've got some of these washers here, which are proper Garrard washers that go in between that the ball race is going to. Well, what I've done, I've put one of them in place of this little rubber O-ring thing, which is just about right. And I can now put the cycling gear back on. I've not tested it yet to see how right I actually am. But I would imagine I'm not far off wrong. There we go, that's clipped in. Right, let's put the turntable back on. I mean, this turntable, right, because the deck isn't straight, and I'm sat. There we go. See, not catching now, folks. That's right now, that. So what we'll do now, we'll put the clip back in, and remember, when you're dealing with Garrards, this clip is a certain way. It goes on like that, and then you get your little tool, little pointy tool, you just pull it over and it just snaps into place. Otherwise they don't work properly, and there should be very little movement in that. Well, that's good enough for me, and it's not catching now. See? That's right now, that. Put the centre spindle back in. That's it. Put the trim piece back in. Because yes, I was lucky enough to get a trim piece with this one. You don't always get that. Put the trim piece back in. And to get in. It doesn't like going in on the other one. The last one doesn't like to go in, but it goes in. You just have to persevere and not rip the rubber like that. That's done. Now let's test it for the automatic functions. Ooh, nearly broke the clip off. Right, so bring that back. Auto, and we're on 78. Back it goes. There we go, to 10-inch. Oh, hang on, I didn't test it for going off. I only test it for going off once, because if it goes off once, it'll go off all the time. Right, so that's okay. 45, and it'll swing over to 45. There we are. 33 should swing over to 12 inch, which it has done. and 33 7-inch, it should swing over to 7-inch, and it has done. And finally, once again, off. There we go. And that there, folks, concludes the service on the Garrard SP25 Mark III. But luckily, servicing the Garrards are all pretty standard. And the reason for this is because that's how Garrard had it. Everything was kept standard, pretty much. The little queuing lever works. Yeah, that goes up. There we are, we're up. Now we're down. That works. The cartridge is yet to be tested. So I need to put that in the cartridge carrier, put the cartridge carrier back in to the tone arm so it doesn't get lost. There we go. And voila. And that, unfortunately, folks, let's just get me grease cloth, me grease brush, and wipe any excess grease out of my brush. There we go. So when I put it back in my drawer, doesn't cover everything in grease. There we go. Hey. Right. That brings us, as I say, it brings us to the end of this service video on the SP25 Mark III Garrard. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get this video uploaded for you, and I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I've enjoyed sitting here and doing it for you. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and bye for now.